All right, so it's me, Chuck Banks, and tonight I got a special treat here. We're doing a pregame live segment, which is a little bit different than what I'm used to, and I've got head coach John Hellige, and you know what, John, you and I have been friends for a long time, but
Yeah.
it's nice to be able to call one of your games.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's really cool you guys are doing that.
Absolutely, and we are looking to expand. So who knows what's going to come down the hatch?
Yeah.
I think I've got an inside dude there. I think his name's Ben Fry.
Yeah.
We'll give him
Yep.
a shout out. Anyway, we'll just talk about your week. I mean, it's Wednesday night. We know we tape these ahead of time. We know that you've got games back to back to back, and so does Fort Madison. So yeah, you two are going to kind of meet up in that matinee on Saturday, probably with tired legs. But that's neither here nor there. Let's talk about your week. Who do you got? Let's talk about before we're playing the Bloodhounds on Saturday.
Sure. Yeah. So we've actually got 4 games this week. We beat Winfield Mount Union on Monday night. We had a home
Um,
game.
I hate to interrupt you, but congratulations on your 100th career win.
Yeah. Thanks. Yeah. Yeah. Appreciate it. Yeah. Yeah, so we took care of Winfield Mount Union on Monday. We played really well, shot the ball well, and defended very well. I think we gave up 10 points in the first half, so we were really locked in defensively. And then last night, back-to-back nights, we played a Danville team that had beat us earlier in the year on a buzzer beater, and we beat them last night 74-30. So we've shown a lot of improvement over the last 4 or 5 weeks. Tonight we had kind of an easy practice, the kids with back-to-back nights, and so tomorrow night we'll do a little prep for our game up at West Burlington on Friday night, as well as a little prep for the Bloodhounds on Saturday. But most of the focus will be in on West Burlington conference
Yeah,
game.
it's always next game up, right? It's kind of like
Yeah,
that. Absolutely. All right, so I got a few questions. I know that you know for the most part I go off the cusp. That's just kind of a guy I
sure.
am, but I do have a couple concrete questions we'll discuss before we get into our matchup on Saturday. What's the identity that you want this program to be known for? And I know what it was known for last year. Let's talk about this kind of a year in year out.
Mhm.
A year away from your son who is playing college ball.
Yeah, yeah, he's up at Cornell College in Mount Vernon. Yep.
Yeah. We just had the head football coach from Cornell, Kurt
Yeah,
Ritchie, on Sunday,
yeah, I
so
saw
that's
that.
pretty cool. All right,
Yeah.
so let's talk about your so what's the identity that you're searching for this group?
Really, at the end of the day, I want these guys to have a good high school experience. I want them to walk in, walk out, be better basketball players, be better individuals, be ready for college or the workforce or whatever they're going to do. And hopefully they take some fond memories with them from our program. I expect them to work hard. I expect them to be good citizens and, kind of play the Holy Trinity way. And really, what we try to do more than anything, we usually don't have a lot of numbers. I think this year we've got 16 total kids. Kind of my mantra with the kids is we want you to play like you're trying to get your teammates' name in the paper. And if you do that, the ball's going to come back to you. And, everybody's going to get their name in the paper eventually. And so we want to play unselfish basketball. We want to share the ball. We want to be happy for our teammates, enjoy them scoring and being successful. And, it's kind of the standard that we've set over the last few years. And it's a culture we want to continue to foster. This year's team's a lot like last year's team, maybe a little less. Uh, uh, I don't know how to say it, but we had Luke last year, and he's 28 points a game, and
Pretty good
we've
ball
got
player.
pretty good ball player. We got Lane Rung though this year, and he is one heck of a player. But we've got a lot of good supporting cast around Lane as well as last year. We had a great supporting cast around Luke last year, and just kind of the epitome of our program. We had a kid last year, Adam Sobchak, that led the state in total number of assists. and he took so much joy in his teammates scoring. I mean, that meant more to him than himself scoring. I think it was either the Penn City or the Democrat interviewed him, and he said, and I'll quote, when I get the ball to my teammates, they reward me with an assist. And I just never, it just blew my mind, and it's nothing I ever envisioned coaching or teaching, but that was kind of our mindset last year was, our teammates reward us with an assist. So, and we've been a really good passing team the last 3 years for sure.
Kind of sounds like the Kurt Signetti way, but I'm going to guess that you smile more than he does.
Yeah, maybe a little bit. I don't know. We'll see. Depends on what kind of mood I'm in, how many turnovers we've had.
Oh man. So question number two, when we talk about program vision and mission here, how do you define success beyond the wins and losses? Because you're sitting 6-5, and you're in a pretty good league. I mean, the
Yeah.
Southeastern Super Conference is pretty tough. I would say that Burlington Notre Dame team is probably as good as we've seen in a long, long time. Would you agree or disagree?
Yeah, I mean they're tough. They're a really really good team. The Southeast Iowa Super Conference South is just stacked top to bottom almost. Notre Dame's kind of leading the pack right now. Central Lee's really good. Mediapolis is really good. West Burlington's really good, and Danville can surprise people. They're just so well coached. Those twins played at Iowa and they know their stuff. Van Buren can shoot the lights out. We saw that in the Jamboree against Fort Madison here at our place. If there's one of those nights where they're hitting threes, look out. You don't know what's going to happen. And then, even New London, they've struggled, but they've won their last two. They beat Van Buren, and then they beat Waco on Saturday, Friday or Saturday. So, everybody's tough night in and night out, and there's never an easy game for us. But just a matter of wins and losses. We love to win. I mean, we want to win more than we want to win. But at the end of the day, if the kids are competing hard, if they're competing with their heart, supporting each other, you know, you can't ask for any more than that. The part that can frustrate a coach is if maybe the kids aren't playing hard, not sprinting the court, no matter what the score is, not playing hard, not helping their teammates up and they're on the ground, things like that. If kids aren't doing that, that's a hard pill to swallow. But if they're playing as hard as they can play and giving it everything they got, at the end of the day, that's all you can ask for.
100%. I'm gonna guess that you don't have to throw chairs like a guy in Indiana did a few years back, right?
I've thrown a few markers.
Oh,
I think Matt Rump caught one in our crowd against our crosstown rival game there. I don't know, 4, 5, 6 years ago. It landed next to him and Coach Wellman, and they brought it down at the next time out. But I try not to act too crazy. But once in a while, that it gets the best of me.
that's the competitor in you, you know?
Yeah.
It's one of those things. So, what's the biggest key in your matchup versus Fort Madison on Saturday?
More than matchups, we've just got to come out. We know this is a big game for both schools. It's kind of a pride thing. There's a lot of friendships on both sides. We share sports with a lot of the kids, in soccer and track and baseball. So at the end of the day, we want to win when we get on that court. But in terms of matchups, I mean, obviously Nolan Guzman is stellar athlete. He's good at everything that he does, and he's hard to guard. He's a good shooter, a good driver. He's quick and athletic. So he's definitely on our scout. And Darius Foy at 6'9", he's tough there in the middle. So there'll be a couple of our key matchups is trying to control those two main players, and then the Jonah Tackett little spark plug freshman out there running all over the place. We'll have to have an eye on him, as well as um, Aurelio and all those guys. I mean, they're athletic, they're tough. You can tell that they're in the weight room a lot and doing multiple sports. So we're just going to have to match their intensity and come out and play hard.
That little guy kind of reminded me of Muggsy Bogues, or one
Hmm.
of those dudes. It's
Yeah.
pretty interesting. So
Yeah.
so in the game, how do you want to set the tone early? I mean, what are you looking at?
Yeah, I'm not going to give all my secrets on Dog Pound
100%.
Radio here
100%.
tonight, but again, we're going to come out. We're going to try to hit first and get a nice lead, and then just try to extend that lead and weather the storms if there are any, and any runs. And I think that most high school basketball games, you're going to have some 6-0, 8-0, maybe even a 10-0 run, and it's really about how your team responds to that, and what their resiliency is like when they respond with their own run.
100%. Now, I followed you, again for quite some time, and you like to develop, and I think that's a huge interest in yours. So, how do you develop the leaders within your team?
Yeah, luckily we've had some great leadership the last 4 or 5 years for sure. We were pretty young there in 2022, 2023. We had one senior and I think one junior, the rest freshmen and sophomore. So a lot of that, had to come from the coaching staff, at least the first half of the season. And then, you got guys like Connor Galing that did some sports over at Fort Madison that just, gosh, you couldn't ask for a better kid. Maddox Rung, those guys as sophomores, and along with Luke and Adam Sobchak, they really, we started to just set the tone on this program, what the expectations were, how we needed to conduct ourselves at practice. And we really stepped up kind of what we were doing outside of the season in terms of team camps and open gyms and things like that. And I think that leadership kind of developed from within. And luckily, it's kind of just nurtured year to year. And this year we've got Lane Rung as a leader, as a senior. Nathan Box, you'll wait till you see him Saturday. Nobody plays harder than this guy. Corbin Van Newell, another really outstanding senior. And then we've got younger guys that lead too. Our freshman point guard is phenomenal. Jack Rhaegar is just phenomenal athlete. And Jay Ellison is a super sophomore player, as well as Tanner Williams comes off the bench for us as our sole junior. We got one junior, so four upperclassmen. They set the tone, but the younger guys, they watch them in practice, they watch them in the locker room and in games, and that culture feeds to them, pretty quickly. And next year they'll be the sole leaders nurturing those incoming freshmen next year. And hopefully we just kind of keep things rolling in the right direction in terms of culture and wins and losses, and having a successful program.
100%. So last question. What has basketball meant to you? When did you know that you wanted to be a head coach? Because uh, John, I can feel the excitement when it comes to basketball just by us conversing.
Yeah. I started playing Y ball. We didn't do all the travel stuff back when I was in grade school, but I think I started in actually just sixth grade. Played a lot at the neighbors' courts before that, but just kind of fell in love with it. Playing that Y ball is much more, it's kind of like Little League back in the day when there was, 15 teams or whatever. There was a ton of Y ball teams, and those Saturday morning games were just wars. And so, and I'm a bloodhound. I went to Fort Madison. Seventh grade, I was still developing. I was a B teamer, actually second string B teamer in seventh grade. Eighth grade made the A team, but didn't play a lot. Ninth grade, my classmates may argue, but probably the best player in ninth grade. And big numbers back then, probably 30 kids. Probably 30 freshmen. Had our own season. By the time I was a sophomore, maybe the best in the school, and then had a really good junior and senior year. I had a 44-point game against Washington, and really fell in love with it. Went to college and intended to be a math teacher. Didn't work out for whatever reason, and kind of went into I got a degree in industrial technology and a master's degree in business, and
That's
kind of went
pretty
in.
impressive as well.
I suppose. I don't know. Went into work at in industry. Went to ConAgra out by Montrose. There, worked there for 14 years, and I coached before I went into industry. I coached at Aquinas way back when, 1994. I was the freshman coach. Went to get a real job, worked nights and weekends and third shift and all that for about 10 years. And so I had to take about a 10-year break. I stayed close to the game by playing a ton of Y ball and pickup ball, any chance I could. And then as soon as I got to like a day job at ConAgra, I started coaching. I started first with I just looked for a job, and Holy Trinity needed a junior high coach, so that's where I landed. Spent about 9 years doing junior high. I also was a varsity assistant that whole time as well. I kind of did double the duty since I'm kind of a basketball junkie. And then in 2016, 17, took over as head coach, and that's what I've been doing here the last. This is year 10 that I've been in the role, so it's been fun. Contemplated stepping down after last year since Luke's playing in college, but just couldn't get myself to do it. I've just invested too much in the game and too much in the program, and so came back and really having a blast this year.
Well, it's going to be exciting. Coach Derek Doherty and I, football coaches, calling the game on Saturday, but
Yeah,
we're excited, buddy. Hey, stay on just for a second. God bless you, and we'll see you Saturday.
sounds great. Thank you.